The former Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Vinod Rai, has finally broken his silence on the 2G scam. In an exclusive interview with WION, World is One's political editor Kartikeya Sharma, Rai spoke about former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, policy paralysis and much more.
So when the result of the audit came out, the discourse was that somehow public servants got targeted. How do you respond to it?
I think it's very fair that the entire decision-making hierarchy should be held responsible for whatever decision which went awry. Now see, decisions can go awry for two reasons. One is an act of omission, the other is an act of commission. An act of omission could be in good faith. So I think if a decision I've taken and it is proven to be a decision taken but in good faith, it has gone wrong, I think that should not be punished. A person should not be punished for that. It can happen to any one of us. We are taking decisions every other day. The other is the act of commission, where there could be an element of malfeasance. And that is where, if that has occurred, the entire hierarchy needs to be questioned for it.
So you were also criticized for creating policy paralysis in the government. Can you break your silence on this issue?
See, the question of policy paralysis just doesn't arise. People who claim that there was a policy paralysis subscribe to the viewpoint, or rather I would say that they are looking for an alibi for their non-performance. It's a bogey. You see, in government, the government has a very good practice of recording your entire opinions, recording their entire discussions on paper. Now, if you have transparently followed all the processes, and processes in government are very important, if you have followed your process and recorded the reasons, nobody has ever been punished for that. It's only when this is lacking somewhere that the penalty has been imposed. So I don't think for anybody to claim that there is a policy paralysis, it's a fair
CLAG
claim.
didn't create policy paralysis.
Definitely, neither CLAG nor the CBC nor the CBI. I think, there is an English saying which says, empty cans make more noise. It was those empty cans who, in any case, were incapable of performing, were trying to justify themselves. Look, how can we perform? These three C's are chasing us.
You have also mentioned the book, whereas you felt that the Manmohan Singh, then Prime Minister, was misinformed, advised about the CAG's role. Were you taken by surprise when he made that statement at the meeting during his interaction? See,
he was interacting with the print media. I was not in town, in fact not in the country at the time of that interaction. There was no question of being surprised about it. But
a former bureaucrat also, because Manmohan Singh has an experience of working in the government in a different capacity, apart from just being a politician.
Absolutely. A very experienced person. He's worked in the government, he's worked in the Reserve Bank of India, and he's been the finance minister and the prime minister. Very experienced and an outstanding personality in every respect. When I saw the text of his discussions with the print media, I was a bit surprised only by that portion where he appeared to be briefed to believe that the CAG had held press conferences. Now, it's a fact that in my entire tenure of 5.5 years, I had never held a single press conference. So I felt it my duty that I need to brief my Prime Minister that this part of his entire interview, he was inadequately informed. So I wrote him a polite letter saying, sir, I saw this text and I felt that you have been inaccurately briefed. I've never held a press conference. I went on to explain to him that the CAG has a practice which was derived after discussion with the...
In the letter, you said that?
Yes, in the letter, sir. CAG has a practice which was derived after discussion with the Public Accounts Committee and the government. And I think it was sometime around 88, 89, post the Bofors kind of issues had arisen, that the practice said that once a report is put into Parliament, it becomes a public document. The CAG, officers of the CAG must hold a press briefing that evening to explain objectively as to what that report contains so that there is no misinformation in the media.
Did you ever get an acknowledgement of the letter or a response from the Prime Minister?
No, I didn't get an acknowledgement from the letter, but subsequently I had this practice of calling on the Finance Minister and the Prime Minister about once in 6 months. When I called on the Honorable Prime Minister. He mentioned that he had got the letter and that he was appreciative of the fact that this issue had been clarified to him.